Hi, boys and girls. So I hear that you're about to embark on a new writing unit of study where you get the opportunity to write a series, just like the series that you love to read. So I thought I would share some books for you, a series that I love. And one of my favorite series is Henry and Mudge, about the little boy and his dog. That's Henry and Mudge. And I have a bunch of books that I can share with you, but I thought maybe we would read the first book today and kind of meet these characters if you haven't met them already. So this is Henry and Mudge, the first book. So we're gonna read some of it today. And the way this author set this book up is each chapter is a different character, and it goes back and forth. Okay? So the first chapter is called Henry. Henry had no brothers and no sisters. "I want a brother," he told his parents. "Sorry," they said. Henry had no friends on his street. "I want to live on a different street," he told his parents. "Sorry," they said. Henry had no pets at home. "I want to have a dog," he told his parents. "Sorry," they almost said. But first they looked at their house with no brothers and sisters. Then they looked at their street with no children. Then they looked at Henry's face. And then they looked at each other. "Okay," they said, "I want to hug you." Henry told his parents, and he did. Next chapter, Mudge. Henry searched for a dog. "Not just any dog," said Henry. "Not a short one," he said. "Not a curly one," he said. "And no pointed ears." Then he found Mudge. Mudge had floppy ears, not pointed. And Mudge had straight fur, not curly. But Mudge was short because he's a puppy, Henry said. "He'll grow." And did he ever? He grew out of his puppy cage. He grew out of his dog cage. He grew out of 7 collars in a row. And when he finally stopped growing, he weighed 180 pounds. He stood 3 feet tall and he drooled. "I'm glad you're not short," Henry said. And Mudge licked him, then sat on him. Henry used to walk to school alone. When he walked, he used to worry about tornadoes, ghosts, biting dogs, and bullies. He walked as fast as he could. He looked straight ahead. He never looked back. But now he walked to school with Mudge. And now when he walked, he thought about vanilla ice cream, rain, rocks, and good dreams. He walked to school, but not too fast. He walked to school and sometimes backwards. He walked to school and patted Mudge's big head, happy. Mudge loved Henry's room. He loved the dirty socks. He loved the stuffed bear. He loved the fish tank. But mostly, he loved Henry's bed. Because in Henry's bed was Henry. Mudge loved to climb in with Henry. Then he loved to smell him. He smelled his lemon hair. He smelled his milky mouth. He smelled his soapy ears. He smelled his chocolate fingers. Then he put his head on Henry's bed. He looked at the fish tank. He looked at the bear. He looked at Henry. He licked him and he fell asleep. Another Mudge chapter. One day Mudge took a walk without Henry. The sun was shining. The birds were flying. The grass smelled sweet. Mudge couldn't wait for Henry, so he left. He went down one road, sniffing the bushes, then down another road, kicking up dust. He went through a field, across a stream, into some pine trees, and then when he came out on the other side, he was lost. He couldn't smell Henry. He couldn't smell his front porch. He couldn't smell the street he lived on. Mudge looked all around and didn't see anything or anyone he knew. He whined a little, alone without Henry. Then he lay down alone without Henry. He missed Henry's bed. Henry, Henry thought Mudge would be with him always. He thought Mudge made everything safe. He thought Mudge would never go away. And when Mudge did go away, when Henry called and called, but Mudge didn't come, Henry's heart hurt and he cried for an hour. But when he finished crying, Henry said, "Mudge loves me. He wouldn't leave. He must be lost." So Henry walked and walked, and he called and he looked and looked for his dog Mudge. He walked down one road, then down another road. The sun shone as Henry ran through a field, calling and calling. The birds flew past as he stood beside a stream, calling and calling. And the tears fell again as he looked at the empty pine trees for his lost dog. "Mudge," he called one last time. And Mudge woke up from his lonely sleep and then came running. The last chapter is Henry and Mudge together. Every day when Henry woke up, he saw Mudge's big head. And every day when Mudge woke up, he saw Henry's small face. They ate breakfast at the same time. They ate supper at the same time. And when Henry was at school, Mudge just lay around and waited. Mudge never went for a walk without Henry again. And Henry never worried that Mudge would leave. Because sometimes in their dreams, they saw long silent roads, big wide fields, deep streams and pine trees. In those dreams, Mudge was alone and Henry was alone. So when Mudge woke up and knew Henry was with him, he remembered the dream and stayed closer. And when Henry woke up and knew Mudge was with him, he remembered the dream and the looking and the calling and the fear, and he knew he would never lose Mudge again. So boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the first book in the Henry and Mudge series, where you get to meet Henry and Mudge and find out how Henry got to keep Mudge. And there's a little bit of a story where Mudge got lost, right? So we'll read maybe another book in the series next time. Maybe The Careful Cousin, or I really like this one, Henry and Mudge and the Funny Lunch. We'll talk soon, boys and girls. Bye.